All right. Good morning, gang. July 14th, 2020. Tradingology.com's trading room will get the doors opened up. Make sure my speakers are up since I'm good at forgetting that. There we go. We got you unmuted, Dave. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are we doing this fine Tuesday?
I'm cold.
Cold.
The temperature has dropped. Last week it was blazing 90 plus humidity. Today it's like 60.
Wow, that's a little refreshing, though.
It was actually. It is kind of refreshing after a really hot streak we had.
Yeah, you don't need some air conditioning for a while.
Nope, nope. So how's the weather over there? Because you should have had a couple of cold days then.
It's been pretty nice recently. We've got some storms rolling through now, but yeah, it was 80 over the weekend, so not super hot.
Okay. I think we're going to get that in a few days. This is not going to last long.
Yeah, it's been comfortable.
That's good.
We're making good use of the camping weekend, so
Yes.
good sleeping weather when it gets cooler.
Yes. Yeah, it is very, very nice. You feel like sleeping in a little bit longer.
Right, it makes it easier. All right, we'll move you guys up here. There we go. Well, I gotta get my chat open.
Morning, Andre.
There he is. All right. If you're curious, this fun behind me, that was the full moon on the 4th of July.
Ooh. Wow.
Coming through some clouds. So it looks like the sun, but that's actually the moon.
Nice.
That was a good picture. I like that one. Good morning, Andre.
That is a beautiful picture.
I think
Now, on Zoom, how do you set that as your background picture?
you go into the settings and you go to virtual background.
Ah, gotcha.
And you don't even have to have a green screen. It works without it.
That's pretty cool. I had a client I talked to yesterday who basically, she had this beautiful picture in the background. It looked like a rainbow almost, but it was like green, purple, orange, and it was a sky with birds in it. And I thought it was Photoshopped. And she said, no, it's not Photoshopped. That's an actual real picture that hasn't been retouched. And it's a phenomena that happens. And she forgot what part of the world it came from, but it was absolutely gorgeous. And it didn't look real, actually.
That's amazing when you get some of those. I've seen that. It's like, that looks like we have fake background behind us when it's actually a real shot.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting market. We're down. Actually, we're up. We're up close to 200 points on the YM futures this morning. Then we had this complete reversal, and we started trading lower, and especially the Nasdaq. Nasdaq got hit really, really hard. It's still down 146, but
yeah, it's been a big roller coaster here right after the open.
And yesterday, wow, what a reversal on the Nasdaq, huh?
Yeah, the afternoon there, that was nuts.
Yeah. Absolutely insane. I mean, we were up and then all of a sudden we were down like close to, I think at one point it got down 300 points on the Nasdaq.
Yeah, and looking at how the internals changed yesterday, I'll back that up a little bit here. I mean, it was pretty decent. There was just some small little moves after the morning. Then it straightened itself out, but then yeah, just bam.
Yeah. And this morning we were down close to 1,000 on the negative side. Now we're positive. So, the Fed will step in and they'll start buying up. I don't think they care as much about tech stocks as they do bank stocks. So we had JP Morgan was the first bank. I believe it was JP Morgan, or was it Citi? I forgot. But anyway, a report. Yeah, because this is the beginning of the bank's earnings seasons. And JP Morgan's was up. Wells Fargo had a big loss, so they're probably down. They're $2.4 billion loss for the quarter.
Wow.
And they're cutting their dividend.
Imagine that. Oh, I got someone's looking for the link. Oh, Greg's waiting at the door. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, I think it was. They should have it here in CNBC, but they don't. But I think J.P. Morgan was the first to. Yeah, here it is. J.P. Morgan shares jump as trading drives stronger than expected quarterly profit, and Wells Fargo had a loss.
Did they attribute to where that major $2 billion loss came from? Did they elude it all, or was it lack of mortgage payments, or?
Let's take a quick look here.
It'd be kind of interesting if they divulged the background. They rarely do, but sometimes they give a reason.
Yeah, bank had a net loss of 2.4 billion, loss of 66 cents a share, 20 cents worse than expected. What do they say here? I only read the headlines.
Right.
Just as the CEO said that our view of the length and severity of the economic downturn has deteriorated considerably from the assumptions last quarter, which drove 8.4 billion addition to our credit loss reserve. So evidently, people are defaulting on their loans at Wells Fargo.
Imagine that. Yeah, what did we hear? Didn't we just talk about there was some 30% that didn't make payments, whether that was renters or homeowners?
Yes.
You were alluding to that last week, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah, so they're under, I mean, Wells Fargo has been in trouble for a while because of that scandal that happened a couple of years ago with the
opening all the accounts on people's behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, actually. And they cite low interest rate environment. So
they can't make money?
Yeah, they can't make money on this low interest rate environment. I mean, even when they're charging 15%, 20% on a credit card, but they're paying zero for that money, they still can't make money on it.
Right. Funny how the banks can't make money when the Fed makes it zero. What if they went negative bound?
Yeah. All right, so we're seeing a little pressure here this morning. A little up and down action.
Big move down on the Russell.
Yeah, Russell, wow. Andre says, Dave, will you be doing a session on VXX tomorrow? I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure. Good morning, Greg. I had planned on it, but I have a pending appointment that I forgot about that I can't miss. So we'll see. I will definitely have more clarification on that this afternoon. And by the way, the VXS sessions are not free. If you looked in the FAQ, they're $25. So if you want to, and it's not a recurring thing, it's just a one-time thing. So you may not need it every single week, but if you want, you get in there. I do a live session. I'll review the VXX system signals, and you're good to go. No recordings will be available.
Yeah, because that's more of a thing where it only matters then. It's not going to matter after the fact.
Yeah. I mean, I do a recording. I put it up an hour later. Everything's changed. So.
Right. It's pointless to see it.
Yeah, and that's why the course is only $97. So, and also, I don't want to stick people in with the on a recurring session if you only need it once a month.
Andre wants to know, how do you set up for the live side of it?
I will send out an email to everybody that signed up for the course. So if I get clarity this afternoon, I'm good to go for tomorrow morning. I will send it out with a payment link. Morning, Stephen. Good morning. Good to be back. It's good to have you back.
Took a little time off, running around.
So the VXX system, if you guys haven't gotten into it yet, is basically pretty delta neutral. So it's a little bit, it's very kind of delta neutral, almost like the Trading as a Business course back in 2008, which is the last large course I did in option trading. And this is a modified version because of the way the VXX is managed and traded. And it's now, let me clarify too that the reason why it's structured the way it is because of the way the VXX is managed. So if you didn't quite get that point, this is really, really important. There's a roll yield on the VXX because the VXX is priced based on the rolling of the futures contracts. Every single day, the VXX managers roll those futures contracts for the first and second month. And when they roll it, they lose a little bit of value. And so that's kind of like, that's the main point of the structure. And it's using options because we get that nice theta decay, or we get a nice pop in the options, and so you don't have to be naked in the VXX or long or short it. But it's pretty much delta neutral, pretty close. And then if it moves in your direction, you add more theta, you get more theta decay, or you get more deltas, and that's why it works.
Everybody watching the recording, or anybody that hasn't got it yet, you can check out Dave's review of the intro and look at the VXX right there. I threw a link in for you. Welcome, Kyle. I see Steven says he's up in Michigan, so he's got some time to get on vacation. So I love it. It's like, I was thinking, you check some things while you're on vacation because it's not like it's work, right?
Is Michigan a popular vacation spot?
It depends on what part he's in. You could say the UP area is definitely popular in the wintertime for the snowmobile aficionados. And Steven, he used to live there, so he's up there visiting probably.
Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, because I was talking with somebody the other day, and they said they went to Michigan on vacation as well. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize Michigan was a popular spot.
Some beautiful scenery, that's for sure.
Yeah. Andre says, do you set automatic stops with VXX? It seems like it could be possible using profit and loss targets. Well, since you're in multiple positions, you could, but the danger there is you get one triggered and the other ones aren't triggered because they didn't meet the price targets. So probably not, unless you do it on Tastyworks. It's a lot easier, and so you can calculate your profit and loss according to the formula that I gave you in the VXX system, and you could set an all or not, or if you enter it as a spread. It is possible. I don't do it, but it is possible. I think with Tastyworks is a much easier platform to trade options on. The margins are much better. They recognize the type of trade you're doing automatically as a spread. And so the margins are good too. But I like Tastyworks a lot for options. I wouldn't use them for anything else, but for options, they're great.
And that's one thing too with it, is there isn't the massive swings in the system. So it's not like if you miss an hour or two, you're going to get burned where you have to worry about that hard stop.
Yeah.
You'll see it happen as long as you can at least check it once a day and be like, all right, where's it at? Do I need to take my profits or do I need to get out?
Yeah, and checking it once a day is about all I want to do. Steven says we'd be entering a VXX tomorrow. Maybe. As I mentioned earlier, in case you came in a little bit late, there is an extra fee for that. It's $25. I'm not making it a recurring fee because a lot of people won't need it every single week. So you just come in when you want to. I do have a conflict tomorrow morning that I'm trying to resolve. And so if I can resolve that conflict, I will be doing it. You'll receive an email if you're signed up for the course, and I will let you know this afternoon. Greg asks, is the VXX considered a spread or multiple trade spread over time? Well, if you do it in TOS, if you do it on Thinkorswim, they do not recognize it as a spread. Even though there are no naked options in it, you're always covered, but they don't recognize it. You have to enter it as a custom order. On Tastyworks, you can enter them individually and try to get those midpoints, which was what I do. and they automatically recognize it as a spread and will margin it accordingly. You're trying to see if you can trade it in a 401k. You may have to, you should be able to, if you can trade options, you should be able to do it. I'm not able, oh, you're not able to trade spreads. Oh, then you won't be able to do it then. No. Yeah, you probably wouldn't, you wouldn't be able to do it. Nope.
Yeah, the good way there is to test it and see if it allows you to or not. Some do, some don't.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you, because I don't have a 401k as I mentioned before, but if you have a 401k and you can trade options, see if you can upgrade your permissions. So sometimes you can ask for permission to do spreads. I know other people that do spreads in the 401k. But I don't know, it depends on your administrator whether they allow that or not.
Or if you can get your self-directed 401k and Tasty, that'd be the easiest, but everyone's got different situations there.
Well, did you hear about this new law that passed? I had no idea. Because my wife has a 401k. And it's called the 401k Portability Act.
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess it was just passed recently, and they were on CNBC talking about it this morning. Because my wife has a 401k at a bank that she worked at years ago, and she didn't transfer it to her new bank that she's working for. And she's got one at her new bank, she's got one at her old bank. And the only way that she could get her 401k out is to put it into an IRA account with some fees. Now, evidently, there's a new law that says you've got portability, and you can take it from your old employer's 401k and just get into the new one. So maybe, yeah.
Worth a look. Andre says he's been able to do some stuff, so it might depend where you are, depends on locality, depends on structure. So it's at least worth, it looks like he's asked. So Greg may not be able to. Andre can. Some people can, some people can't. Always check what's available for you. There is no single cookie cutter for everybody, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're all different. Andre says, nice, because TOS, it looks like you have to enter it as singles. The problem is on TOS, if you enter it as singles, they won't recognize it as a spread. And your margin's going to be like a lot. Even on just 10 contracts for each leg, it's going to be like $30,000 or some stupid thing. If you enter it as a custom, they will recognize it as a spread. But then you can't hit the mids, and I like to hit the mids on each leg.
Yeah, those definitely matter. Absolutely.
Yeah. I sent you a couple things over on.
I was just pulling that one up.
Yeah.
From Fred.
Yeah, Fred. Our good friend Fred. Greg, I guess I'll be opening Tasty Works. Yeah, they are the very best for option trading. Absolutely love them. TOS doesn't handle them right. IB doesn't handle them right. Tasty Works was really designed just for options. And plus, they have zero commission when you close out a trade, which I really love. Yeah, so finally they updated Fred with the velocity of M2 for the first quarter there, and you can see that it's starting to dive. Now, that's just for the first quarter, and as we know, it was only a few weeks into the whole collapse here of the economy. So I'm very interested in seeing what the Q2 looks like. It's got to be, it's got to be bad. Anyway, they finally updated it. We've been waiting kind of like a long time here. But you can see the velocity is terrible.
Yeah, they started reverting 2017, but bam.
Yeah, it just rolled right over.
Like you say, it's going to be down here. It's going to be off the chart.
Yeah, it's going to be way down there.
We'll have to compare where 1.3 comes out when the next quarter reports.
Yeah, and you can
It's
see
up here now.
Look at the low. I mean, they go back to 1960 on this. What's the lowest? What's the other lowest there? 1965.
1.653 in Q4 of 64.
Yeah.
That was the previous low, and that we
They had,
broke that in 2011.
right. And they haven't put up the gray lines yet, and I believe we are now officially in a recession, which they haven't recognized there either. Those gray lines are the recession.
So I suppose we should preface this. This is the velocity of M2 money stock. So what's the easiest way for people to think of that?
And the significance of the velocity of money is that if there's not enough money, you take $1 and you go spend it at the store, and then you take that guy who gets your $1 at the store, spends it on more supplies to stock his store, and a supplier takes that $1 and he spends it for more goods and services and materials so you can create more goods and services. That's the velocity. It's that same $1 going from one hand to another. Well, when that slows down, so does economic activity. And you can see that it's been absolutely horrible since basically the dot-com crash.
Yeah, that was that small recession, and then the GFC.
Yeah.
And how wide is this one going to be? Like you say, when are they going to start reporting the gray?
Yeah.
I suppose they didn't officially announce it because they needed 2 quarters, right? Back to back, so it won't be till Q2. It'll be gray.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
For their official definition, right?
Yeah, but we all know we're already in it. So.
Yeah, we knew back here. Q3.
Yeah.
Q3 started.
Yeah, it actually did. Yeah, absolutely. Andre says, did you compare the costs on TOS and TAC? Oh, yes, absolutely. Sometimes TOS is willing to lower the fees if you ask them a little bit. You'd have to trade massive amounts of option contracts.
You got to be a big fish for them to do that.
When I was doing options on TOS, the commissions alone that I paid, I forgot what year it was, but it was back maybe 2010, 2011, 2012. I was paying them commissions of $30,000 plus a year. That's how many commissions that's how many contracts I was trading. And they lowered it to the lowest they could go. And I think I was paying 60 cents a contract. They don't do that anymore. I don't think they'll go that low.
Probably since the merger, they're not going to be as willing to
exactly. That's right. TD is not going to. After TOS was bought out by TD Ameritrade, they're not as flexible.
Right.
I could call Tom Sosnoff and ask him, "Hey Tom, can you lower that? I did 250 contracts just this morning, and I'm buying another 500 this afternoon, and I've been paying you guys a lot." And he lowered it right away. You can't do that anymore. $1 is the lowest that you know of. Well, here's the deal with Tastyworks. You pay $1 a contract up to $10. $10 is your maximum fee per leg. So if you're putting on 90 contracts or 10 contracts, the maximum you're going to pay on that leg is $10. If you put 20 on a leg, the maximum you're going to pay is $10. So if you're doing anything under 10, it's $1 a contract. If you're doing more than 10, it's $10 max on that leg, which is great.
And nothing to close it.
Yeah, and then 0 closing commissions, 0. So it's really 50 cents.
Right, exactly, for round trip.
Round trip with a maximum of $10, $5 per leg. That's cheap. Even IB, I think IB is 60 cents a contract, but there's no max on it. So.
We should also take a look at our latest update that you put up. And I was noticing the swing signal was also turning down in 2 days in a row here.
Yes, and the ABS is still high.
And look at flow and the pipeline. Yeah, we're starting to turn red everywhere there.
Starting to pick right back up again. And we came out of the red pipeline a few days ago, and now it's starting to get red again. But MT volatility is declining, so we're out of that 100% range. That MT volatility 100% is kind of off the table here, but the pipeline's starting to pick up again. It just indicates volatility.
And here's something you don't see very often. I know you called it out when it started. Look at the Dow was up 10, and the supply demand was -5. Buying on the decline, or selling on the advance. Sorry.
Yep, selling on the advance. That's right. Yep.
So that's a setup for that for sure. And yeah, talk about volatility. As we've talked about before, these are 50-point bars right now.
Yeah.
Or squares, I should say.
Yeah, those aren't little ones.
Just to fit it in here so we can see it.
Yeah.
On the YM. Yeah, that's major moves and big wicks.
Yeah. Yeah, some of those traverse 2 or 3 of those squares. So
yeah, you're looking at 100 points, 150 points in a 5-minute bar here.
Yeah.
100, yeah, what, 125? Sorry.
Yeah, a 5-minute bar. It's crazy.
Yeah, Greg says Trade-Evade or Ninja Trader for futures. Yep, for sure. They definitely have some of the best margin and commissions as well. Steven's using Trade-Evade as well, but we'll switch to Tasty. Yeah, Tasty's great for options. That's what I'm doing as well. Tasty for options and Trade-Evade for futures. The best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
That's what I personally do, at least.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't listened to Tasty Works, or Tasty Trade, rather, the channel that Tom Sosnoff is on with, I forgot his co-host name. Brent something, or I can't remember.
Yeah, it was fun when you called out that talk they had on volatility arbitrage.
Yeah. Very interesting, right?
Yeah.
I think they've been paying attention to us.
They almost had it. They're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll send them a link.
Yeah, they were close. They were close, but they didn't quite get it. Didn't put all the finishing touches on that.
Right. What was the other one I was seeing? Yeah, great. Using different brokers depending on what you're trading. Well, yeah, definitely save. Yeah, talk about. Steven just noted there, $14 round trip on one ES and toss. Ouch.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That'll add up in a hurry.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And look at how much more you have to. So you have to have a bigger move to be profitable, right, on the trade.
Yeah, I mean, you got to move pretty good for just to break even.
Yep.
Having different brokers is kind of like, going to a specialist for health. So you wouldn't go to a cardiologist for an ear infection. So, that's why we use different brokers. If I was trading just plain old stocks, it wouldn't matter. I mean, as long as it was commission free. So TOS is commission free on stocks. So if you're just doing stocks, then it doesn't matter. But if you're doing options or you're doing futures, Trade-Evade and Tasty Works are the best for those. I think just about everybody's commission free on stocks now, isn't it? I mean,
I think so. It's pretty close to across the board. If it's not already, it's got to be really close.
Yeah. Yeah, that we're back positive again on the internals.
Yeah, it just doesn't know what to do. Hovering right around 0 on the volume. I did notice too, we're within $10 between the diamonds and the Qs. $8. That's almost 1-to-1.
Wow. Yeah, and actually, maybe a day or two ago, it was pretty.
It might have actually been. Yeah, I didn't watch it yesterday.
I think last Friday, maybe it was pretty close. Because the Nasdaq pulled back yesterday, and it pulled back this morning. So yeah, it was probably real darn close.
Actually, that was up at 270.
No,
For sure. For sure the cues were above. What day is that? Yeah, that's Monday. That's yesterday. Let's look at the diamonds yesterday. They were for sure.
wow. What was that on?
Yesterday at 11 o'clock your time, give or take. Cues were above the diamonds.
Man, that is crazy.
Didn't think you'd ever see that one.
Yeah, really didn't.
Yeah, look at this. Like you say, volatility. There you go. It's ripping right back up.
Hit that pivot. Look at that pivot on the YM. Man, right up against it. And the RTY.
Yep.
That's why the MES system is so good. I mean, geez, it's just like painting by numbers.
You know where there's free range and where there's not. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I think I had one other chart up there. We could pull that one up on the gold silver ratio. In fact, Barry asked me a question on the gold silver ratio yesterday in the RTUS, and basically, here's the kind of interesting thing about the gold silver ratio is that it measures it's just like the volatility arbitrage, really, and the gold silver ratio is like one of the oldest ratios going back thousands of years. And back in, I believe it was I think it was in the 1960s. The ratio was at like a 97. And it was one of the highest levels it's ever been. So when it gets close to 100, it is high. It is considered high. And when it's down around 14, 15, like it was in the early 80s, maybe late 70s, it's very low. And so it's only been like this a couple of times in my lifetime where it's been at a high level or at a low level. And right now, that 125 you see on there is the highest level it's ever been in the thousands of years they've been tracking it. I mean, you can go back to some historical documents, but they say it goes back to
since the beginning of time as far as voting is considered.
Yeah, even biblical times. I guess they they did a recording of gold, silver, and they kept track of it even back then. And it's the highest level it's ever been. So what happens is when it's really high, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to sell gold, but it means silver is very underpriced. And as you've seen, silver has gone up from like around the $14, $15 level up to about 19 now, I think.
Yep, we're over 19 now. It broke.
Yeah. So that's what it means. So what you do is so trading this doesn't necessarily mean you sell gold. It just means you accumulate more silver when it's really, really high. And then when the ratio is low, like in the 15s and 20s, you want to accumulate gold.
Andre says there's some opinions regarding classic photography with silver needs causing this no need for a lot of silver used in photos. There is also another major need that a lot of people overlook is the military spend on gold and batteries and things of that nature. Whether that's the U.S. military or any militaries that are building anything for just supplies, that's another major driver of that silver price.
Yes, that is absolutely true because silver is much more durable. It's a better connector or conductivity metal than anything else. So they need something that's super reliable. So they will use silver. Yeah. So yeah, the classic photography guys, I guess, it might be a little bit of demand there. I'm not sure how big classic photography is. Maybe it's growing. I don't know.
Ooh, the YM got some volume.
Yeah.
It's up 210 now.
What? It was just up 100 like 2 minutes. You hear that high tone?
Yeah, because this 5-minute bar was another 100-point move.
Yeah, that was really high pitched. It's funny every once in a while when I hear George Gammon's videos, he'll do something like that. He'll like have all of a sudden a really high pitch.
Greg's got part supplier manufacturer that I used to work in the past used silver for the contact relays that were made. Yep. Yeah, it's amazing how much use silver actually is that most people don't even realize unless you're in the industry that leverages it. There we go.
Yeah, we're climbing, so it looks like the Fed has stepped in. With the financial stocks, they've really been beaten up, and they haven't really recovered 100% from the lows of March. And those are the ones I'm kind of keeping an eye on now. They most of them, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, well, except for Wells Fargo, J.P. Morgan, Citi, they're all up this morning. So, and remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about the fact that the Fed said that they were going to buy or they were supporting financial banks, and the way they're doing it is by buying their stocks. So actually, I'm going to make a change to my wife's 401k and get into a financial fund or ETF, financial services fund, today.
Yeah, because once they start, it's pretty much unstoppable, you know.
And they've been really under pressure. So they haven't completely recovered like a lot of like the tech stocks.
I did notice too, part of what they may be contributing this to or not, I haven't seen any headlines yet, but their old manufactured CPI beat by 0.1% this morning on the month over month. They were forecasting a 0.5%. It came in at 0.6%.
Oh, really?
The consumer price index, which we know that is manipulated, but yeah. So that might be part of their happy-go-lucky right now.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be. Because anything to do with so they were predicting a 0.5%, and it came in at 0.6%.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good sign for them. It means their QE stimulus, whatever you want to call it today, is working to inflate.
And the core CPI month over month, they were predicting a 0.1, and that came in double at 0.2.
Ooh.
And previously, they were both negative, so that is a turnaround as well.
All right, so the Fed's doing a happy dance this morning.
Yep. So I can show you what I'm reading there. Sorry, I didn't bring that guy over, but just the basics of my Forex Factory calendar. They reported this morning. That's the only two majors, or I should say not majors, but the 3 out of the 4 scale, medium impact. The majors are the core retail, so we'll see where they come out. So there's the 0.6 and 0.2.
Gotcha. It's a nice little calendar there.
You got to have your Forex Factory. And then they take some profits and manipulate it back down. Just wait.
And of course, the pivot on the YM hit perfectly. A little support there.
Speak of the devil, just slammed right into it right now.
Oh, by the way, in case you guys aren't in our RTUS, I took half of my position off a link at $6.80.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Good call to mention that. I took profit on a few cryptos that day.
Yes, I took another quarter at $7.30, $7.30. And then the last quarter that I have, I put a stop at $6.80, and I'm just going to let it go. So we'll see what
I grabbed some profits on Link ADA. I think was the only two I grabbed. Yeah, because I already had my profits on the other H bar, and that hasn't taken off yet. I haven't looked at that this morning. I'll have to check that out after. It's been a nice move there.
It has been a nice move. Link is at 746 right now, so it's up another 4% today. ADA is up a little bit at 12.4 cents. But nothing else has really moved that much. It seems kind of odd, but it looks like there's a few cryptos that are moving up and others are just kind of staying the same. Like Bitcoin hasn't moved, Ethereum hasn't moved, so the large cap cryptos haven't moved that much. Some of the emerging ones are seem to be doing better.
Speaking of Ethereum, you'd sent a note over. Did you want to touch on that at all, or is that for?
Yeah. Let's talk about that because that's kind of an issue. I had a client who was in a 401k, and she got into the Grayscale ETHC, I believe it is, which is not the Ethereum Classic fund that they have, which is publicly traded. This is the private one that you have to have a minimum of $20,000 or something like that to get into. And this was kind of very, very shocking. And I had this meeting with her yesterday. She lost a lot of money because what happened was when the Grayscale set up this fund, the institutional investors that got into it were under the stipulation that they had to hold the fund for 1 year. And then after 1 year, they could do whatever they wanted. Well, 17 million of the shares were liquidated a few days ago. And the ETHC, I believe that's the symbol of it. I can't remember 100%, but it went from $159 down to $79. It was a huge drop. She lost a lot of money. She didn't realize that there was a condition under the institutional investors to hold it for a year, and then as soon as that year was up, they could sell, and 17 million shares were sold within a few days, and it just dropped like a rock. So if anybody's invested in GBTC, which is the Bitcoin Grayscale Trust, or the ETCG, which is the Ethereum Classic Trust Fund, check out the fine print to see if there's a holding period that's going to expire soon for institutional investors that got in. And I'm not sure why, the institutional investors bailed out of Ethereum, except maybe they're kind of disappointed that Ethereum 2.0 is going to be put off to 2021 and most likely 2022 or something like that. That's the only thing I can think of.
Interesting. Yeah, looking at just Ethereum itself. So it wasn't obviously the cryptocurrency itself that you're speaking of as a fund that was related to it.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with Ethereum. Ethereum was kind of continuing to go up and steady. It had nothing to do with Ethereum. It only had to do with this fund. Big liquidations on it. So there's a large premium on the fund to the price of Ethereum. And then when they liquidated it, just, it basically was cut in half. But it didn't affect Ethereum itself. No. Andre says, what about our big bet on XRP? I don't see any. It's still a long-term hold. If you didn't see it, Steve Wynn basically came out with an article, said that XRP is going to be $10,000. I'm not sure what expertise he has on XRP, but he is one of the largest developers and multimillionaire guys in Las Vegas. It's funny though because the article headline said something about him being a winning blackjack player because he was part of that MIT team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. They said he was part of the MIT team that went to Las Vegas and won millions in
How they
blackjack.
let him own a place, and I thought they were banned for life.
Well, he was in the original group. But
Interesting.
I don't know how I guess he's not gambling. He just built hotels and casinos. Like,
Sure, I suppose.
doing that. But I guess he can't play. Maybe he can't play anymore. But he can build hotels and casinos.
Wow, I had no idea.
And he's from my hometown, Utica.
Wow, I didn't know that either. All kinds of
Yeah.
new things we're learning today.
Yeah. When I was director of economic development for the city, his yacht came through. There's a canal that connects the Lake Champlain with the Hudson, and he came through his yacht came through the Erie Canal, which stops at Utica. And I was invited down to meet him, but I was too busy. I said, "Who's this guy? I don't know who this guy is." I was too busy, so I didn't go. I should have gone.
Steven says he knows how to catch the cheaters if he owns the casino. Exactly.
Oh, really? Yes, he probably does. Yeah.
Link to Ripple offering. What is that, BD?
There is.
The link to, that's a different one, sorry.
Yeah, link to. So it's a what it is they sell the shares of Ripple pre-IPO shares. So you need to be an accredited investor to get those. But Link to has created a fund to put a special purpose vehicle, basically, to put shares of Ripple in it, which they're going to sell, which they're going to hold until it goes to an IPO. The only thing I don't like about that, and the reason I'm not going to participate in it, is because they will liquidate the fund before the IPO. So if they do IPO, they liquidate the fund, they collect whatever money they can get, and if that happens within the next 6 months, you get a short-term capital gain instead of a long-term capital gain on the stock. So I mean, it's good for them because they get to raise capital, but I don't think it's good for the investor. I would wait until Ripple's IPO, buy it on an exchange, hold it for a year, and then take a long-term capital gain out of it if I want to sell. Yep, no problem, BD.
All right, well, time is flying today. We're already at 9:47 my time.
Wow, we did fun.
Anything that we've missed that we wanted to cover? Any questions we missed? I think we've got everybody.
Yeah, so XRP, Andre, is basically still a good bet. I have no problems with XRP. I think it's just going to take a little bit longer for adoption. And I think that XRP is still the most liquid. It is the most convertible. And eventually, I think when institutional investors really start to step up to the plate after we get some legislation, they will do reports on XRP, and the fundamental value of it will probably shine, especially against other cryptocurrency projects, because it has real utility. It's just going to take a little bit longer.
BD's asking, once I find the link for those internals, I will post those links in the Trader Resources page, guys, so look for it there. I was away from my office this weekend, so I didn't get to do some quick research, but it is still on my to-do list, and that's where I'll put them.
Stephen also asked, was thinking it would be a nice resource on the website, would be a list of sources and links you guys use to evaluate the markets.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, as I cruise across things, whether it's Forex Factory, the different Fred sites, just where we go to get information. So I'll put a bunch of links up in there as well, so you can bookmark them and save them, and just or just keep them there wherever you want. So yeah, I'll definitely put it in. Dave, if you got anything you want to add, shoot it over, and I'll put it in the list.
Absolutely.
We'll share everything we do, guys, for sure.
Yeah, treasury yield curve.
Yeah.
Spread. Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking at that last night too, and it was I think it was still at a 0.1, but look at the 10-year.
Oh yeah,
0.64 now.
Yeah.
10 years still dropping.
30 years dropping, 20 years dropping, and that's just in this month.
Oh, I got a good one for you. Here's going to be my last teaser. I almost forgot about this. We took a picture when we were on our vacation this weekend. I shouldn't say vacation. It was just a short little up north. Let me grab this. You're gonna get a kick out of this.
Okay.
So we were shopping at one of the local stores, and we were going to check out. I think it was actually the dollar store because we needed something cheap for the campsite. And oh, come on, make sure you let me pull it up now. We were at the register, and they had a sign up there. Photos. Let me refresh my photos quick. It was really weird.
To say they accept XRP.
It was not that. It was a sign saying, apparently my sync is being funny right now. The sign was saying that there is a coin shortage and they wanted people to not use coin or cash because they couldn't make change, basically.
Oh,
They were saying, due to a shortage in coins, please do not, or please use, a credit card or something other than coins, because I read it as they couldn't turn it. So apparently my thing, I'm not on Wi-Fi on my phone, that's why. Okay, so give me a second, I'll get it up for you here. And I'll sync it.
Well, I also heard, or saw a Twitter, somebody posted the fact that they went out to a restaurant, and I forgot, it seemed like it was somebody we know, but they went out to a restaurant and they tried to pay cash. They wouldn't accept it.
Wow. Here we go. It's starting to refresh. Where's my sign?
Ethan says, I've seen similar signs somewhere recently and thought it was weird. Greg says a few places in my travels are doing the same. If you do use cash, they are rounding up or down accordingly. Wow.
Interesting.
Huh. It is very, very odd. Well, you know that the banks, the Federal Reserve, oh yeah, okay. The U.S. Federal Reserve even is experiencing a coin shortage.
Look at that.
I'm taking a screenshot of this one. This is something. Please use correct change or other form of payment possible. We apologize for the inconvenience. That is crazy.
That's at the Dollar General, the dollar store.
They even point out the U.S. Federal Reserve is experiencing a coin shortage.
Look at right over here, digital coupons, all kinds of fun, yeah.
That is something else.
I had to take a picture of that one. I'm like, look at that.
Well, remember just a few weeks ago, we were talking about the fact that the Federal Reserve has reduced reserve requirements to zero.
Right.
And now they have also completely eliminated the amount of cash that each bank has to have on hand.
Yep.
So the banks don't have, that's an expense of the banks. The banks do not have to have cash. They don't have to have coins. They don't have to have anything on there. They want everything to go digital. It's happening.
Yep. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Greg says my local Lowe's isn't accepting cash, but Home Depot is. QT in South Carolina has a similar posting. QT. What is QT?
Quick Trip.
We don't have those.
Another gas station.
Okay, gotcha. All right, guys. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.
See you, Dave.